Well, I mean, yeah. You're still running with the BlackBerry.
It's not the phone, it's the network. It's always free.
Oh, it's the
They just
network.
shut me down. They're like, oh, you're in another country, so you obviously don't want your phone.
They love to just enhance your.
I phoned them before, and they said, you've got a data cap, you've got this money cap, you've spent £100 on data. I'm like, look, ask me, don't ever turn it off.
Well,
They said, what if it's 500 quid? I said, don't turn it
just
off.
don't turn it off. I need
Ever.
it.
But they said we can't put a no limit on it. I said, well, what's your highest limit? I said, well, give us a number. I said, well, then what are we doing here? Like, if I'm gonna give you a number, I'll give you £1 million.
What's it capped at? This guy right here.
Fucking man.
Yeah.
What about?
It's back wheel.
Well, the thing I find funny about that is he's illegally parked to make
On a
parking.
parking.
I mean, I know he's got to do a parking ticket, so he's got to park somewhere.
I mean,
but-
he's just checking out.
yeah. I mean,
These people are genuine. I saw this
got a
guy.
job
This guy come up in the Audi, the big Audi, and I've never seen an Audi like that before.
I like the weird.
Well, what is that? What is that?
It says it's e-tron on the side. Is it S-tron or e-tron?
Yeah. What the fuck is it?
It's like halfway between an Audi and a Land Rover, squash Land Rover.
It's a and it's got like.
Like the Evoque.
I mean, it's new, isn't it? That because you can tell by the tyres. I mean, they're brand new tyres, right?
It's too big.
It's ridiculous.
It's too
It's
big.
a silly car. Yeah, but it's one of those pointless cars as well.
No purpose,
Like we've been talking about those SUVs. We haven't actually talked about it, but we talk about pointless things.
Yeah.
And this is just another level of that.
Pointless thing.
And it's an
that we
absolute
talk about.
pointless thing.
What's wrong with that car? I mean, I know I think it's too big.
Can I tell you what's wrong with that
but you
car?
tell
Right?
me.
Now, I drive a coupe, which is a nice level on the road.
Yeah.
SUVs come down the other side of the road with these blinding, stonking blue LED light headlights.
Lighting is a whole thing we can go into after this. Go.
They annoy me to fuck, and they're at the most annoying level. So I'm driving down the road at my normal level. These SUVs are like a foot higher. The headlights are about a foot higher.
It should be dipped more. I don't know why they don't just dip them.
It should be a law, right? Because they do it in Europe, don't they? I don't know, maybe they don't.
I think it's the temperature we've suddenly turned to. We've turned to this hue that is.
They're absolutely horrible, and they shine directly in your eyes, and I
Yeah.
cannot see where I'm going.
The transition.
It's dangerous.
Transition
It's
started with
fucking
like that
dangerous, bro.
HID light suddenly appeared. People wanted that super bright white, which is cool. That's fine.
Right.
Some people like it.
Yeah, I'm not, and actually my car, because I bought a pair of headlights for my car when I needed to get them restored, right? So I had the original headlights on there were gone yellow inside, like mouldy. I don't even know how that happens, right? How do lights go mouldy on the inside?
So you get water in.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. You get damp, then sunlight hits them, and you get mold.
Well, thanks for clearing that up. So I bought a new pair of headlights for my car. I bought RX-8 headlights, and when I had the car fixed,
Yeah.
I had to get it fixed. It was absolutely fucking fuck with it.
On top of the wankle.
No, the wangle was fine. It was a power thing. It had like 120 amp fuse flow.
Yeah.
But I got that fixed, and I got the same guy to install my front bumper because I crashed into a guy.
Yep.
And I also said, could you install my new headlights?
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, no worries, I'll do all that. And then he gets back to me like, a few days later, they're the wrong headlights. It's like, but they're RX-8 headlights. It's like, yeah, but your model is
Doesn't
over
take it.
2006, so it has to be the blue LED.
Oh, so is it just the lamps you gave? You didn't give them the whole
No,
house?
I gave them the whole house.
So why can't you? So the housing.
It's a different fixture
Because it's
and a
the-
different
yeah.
component that goes into it. Yeah.
And he couldn't.
I
work
was
it out.
I was as shocked as you were.
He couldn't make it fit.
No, he couldn't make it fit. No, it's not. It didn't make it fit. It would have
The
failed the
power
MOT
wouldn't work. Why?
because it wasn't the right light.
Really? What they're
Yeah.
going to go the RX-8 from what did you say from 2000?
2006.
Doesn't meet the requirements this year.
Exactly.
Really?
That's exactly it. Yeah. Honestly, I
I don't
was as
think they were that
surprised
bothered
as you.
about headlights. They should be. If they were, you wouldn't be blind all the time.
Exactly. But then he turned around to me and goes, "But I can restore your old headlights for you."
Oh yeah.
So he did
Get rid of
that.
the mould and stuff.
Yeah.
How's it been? It work?
Absolutely great. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. No, he sorted them right out, but I've still got the other ones in the boot, wrapped in carpet.
Wrapping around, using more
It's in
carpet.
the boot. Honestly, like my boot's full of just of those.
Things, yeah,
you know,
failures.
Oil. Yeah, basically.
Things full of failures. The light thing, I think it slowly changed. Everything went to HID, and then like xenon, and they got blue,
Right,
and then they got white.
Xenon, that's the word I was looking for. They had to be xenon, yeah.
And
It's a certain connector onto the xenon.
It happens just prior to the street lamps changing, which is another problem I have, to LED. And now we've got LED headlights and things. The LED's got good enough for it. But what I don't like is, I'm only presuming here, white light doesn't travel as far as...
No,
or doesn't throw as far as like the lower temperature.
No,
light,
but when
right?
you say white light, yeah, what temperature are you talking there? Are you talking like blue?
I'm just talking like... Remember headlights from the 70s? Or like when you imagine headlights from the 70s? They were like a yellow...
There's a fan over there reflecting on the water. That's a tungsten...
Yes,
that's about 3.5K.
There's a burning going on in
Kelvin,
there, right? There's a burning going on in there.
That's a nice level of warm.
That light
warm
throws
light.
a certain distance, right? That light throws a certain distance.
Yeah.
And when you put white lights in your car, or when they started to manufacture
or the
xenons,
xenons
or the blues,
Yeah.
they're the higher temperature, and they look cool. Like people like the light that's in front of them, but to get the same distance, you've now got to ramp that
got
up.
to push it up, right? And
that's what I think is causing the problem for us as other drivers.
But then what happens is the light that they're projecting out goes further and lets them see, but then other driver has to compensate to make to make their light visible.
Everyone knows night vision. The more red the light, the better, because it doesn't affect your vision, right?
No. What, night vision? No.
For your night vision, the more red the light is, the better. Like if you use a red torch at night, you don't affect your night vision, so you can turn off the red light and you still have your dark vision. Which is why the closer you get to white in a car, it affects all your vision for driving.
Dan, there's going to be people out there that do not know what you just said, because I didn't know what you just said.
So red light doesn't... You know you have two sets of cells in your eyes. One for night, one for day. Or
No, you don't.
One for white,
you have an iris.
One that picks up the light once it's gone through the iris.
No, that's the cornea. Yeah.
But
that hits the back of your lens.
And there's two cells there.
Two cells,
right?
Yeah,
so one for closer to red, one for closer to white. So basically
no, it's not. It's white and green.
Which is why you have carrots are good for your vision, because they affect the darker cells, the ones with the night.
but that's not.
No, seriously,
it's not true.
The vitamins that carrots give you treat those other cells.
That's bullshit.
But that's where the rumour comes from. That's where the rumour comes from.
It's a
carrots
rumour.
Affecting your night vision.
Yeah. What?
Because
So
carrots have the vitamin. I can't remember the vitamin D cell or the A or B that are good for those the night vision cells.
The way human vision works is we see 60% green, like 30% red, and 10%
White. Blue.
This red, green, and blue are the only colours we can see with our human
And we mix them together to make our whites.
We mix them together, yeah. Our brain does it automatically, thankfully. But they're the only three colours you see is red, green, and blue. And yeah, like I say, because as the eyes developed, look, I think I'm speculating here, but as the eyes developed over the years, we've been used to seeing a lot of green, and that's why we see 60% green.
We want to see green more in
because we see green, exactly, and red kind of depicts danger or certain levels of it. These days it doesn't matter, this is remnants of what's happened over here. And 10% of blue is because blue is such a high frequency, it's sort of off the scale. It doesn't. It's the lowest picked up from our eyes. Now camera chips, right? Now this has been a problem for us on the show. Camera chips are designed to pick up the entire light.
Yeah.
And
the whole spectrum.
As they are, yeah, and then you're supposed to be able to tweak those. So it from a default standoff, the picture looks very blue on a camera chip
because it's getting an equal amount.
Because it's getting an equal amount of everything, but then to tweak it to make our eyes, pleasing.
You have to drop it 80%.
Well, we drop the colour temperature.
But does that drop the blues 80%? That's what I mean. If you've only got, we've got 20% blue.
So we go. So like, what it'd be seeing would be like 7,500 kelvin.
Yeah.
80%, yeah. You drop to like, 3.5 or 4.
Yeah.
Well, what a typical white balance is 5.5k, but that's often still too blue as well.
You want it warmer.
A
Expect
lot
it warmer.
Yeah. A lot more, yeah, because your eyes just doesn't. So it's like we were saying about frame rates the other day as well.
Yeah.
It's weird because my mate did this. There was like a whole competition thing. It was called Straight 8.
Oh yeah, I think you told me about this. They give you a bit of film, don't they? And you've got to record without edit.
Yeah, so
or that post edit.
So you have your Straight 8 camera, and then they send you the cartridge, and you don't know until you get the cartridge whether it's going to be black or white or full colour. And it's do you know what? I don't actually remember the rules. I think it's a 3-minute film. Remember that rightly?
Oh no.
Rightly? Is that a real word? Sorry.
I think so. Correctly? What's that,
Correctly. Yeah. I'll cut that one out.
Oh yeah.
You've got to leave in the errors. You know, all the errors that I've made about this. You have to leave the errors in.
Oh yeah.
Cut out of your memory.
Yeah.
Your own person.
Yeah. It's like Simpson. So we're saying about the Straight 8 film, yeah, and you don't know until you get the film that it's going to be either black, white, or colour. And I'm pretty sure it's a 3-minute film.
Right.
And you put it into your camera, and you only get the one chance to shoot your film. And it's all done with in-camera editing, so it's
Haribo.
yeah, why not?
Green gummy bear?
Yeah. It's can't get it out of the pocket.
Shop children's sweets.
Yeah, they're just
Be a massive
they're really small. But everything's done in camera, so you hit the button. There's one button on the camera, and you've got your lens, so you can focus the lens. That's all you can do.
There's just a go on the camera, right?
So you stop it, start it, you stop it, start it, and you film the whole film. And some of these movies they were producing were, absolutely stunning.
It sounds like it's a good concept. You know, it's like doing. You know, if we go back to linear recording onto tape, there's a whole you treat the recordings, you treat the compositions differently, all the way back to how you've got around performance a lot more than if you've got 400 undos.
Right, because you've got to do it.
You've got to do it in a line. You can
it.
just a certain amount of tape editing, like cutting, you can physically do, like you can with film, but. Certain amount. It limits you in a different way to how you do with undo and being able to move things freely across a timeline at your will.
Well, here's one for you then, like, because I do a bit of my lyrics over hip hop beats that I've wrote. Now, I'm not happy until I've nailed the whole verse,
Right.
in one take.
Oh, when you
When I
do the
actually
recording.
do the recording.
Yeah.
I don't want. I'm not. Yeah.
You want
I
it to
don't.
flow as one continuous
One continuous take. I don't want to be fucking stopping it and like cutting a bit in.
comping it.
Like mainly because I can't be asked to do that. I don't want to do that. I just want to fucking nail the take
I think with poetry,
over the top of the fucking beat.
I think with poetry as well, because flow and delivery is such a big part of the performance. I mean, it can be hidden in music, but poetry is essence is flow, right? If you say it wrong, then
Exactly,
it loses its
and
meaning.
instantly, if you mess it up, you stop straight away, and then you have to try it again. Which is, amazing for me these days that I can do that, and I can discard something as much as I like.
There's the argument, the fact that you can comp vocals means you can get away with being a subpar performer because you don't need.
Totally, mate. No, I'm not a performer.
But there's plenty of performers, perfectionist performers that would have done edits too. So I don't know where to draw that line.
Do you know what? This is where I have respect, right? And I'm going to say a couple of deals now is respect for certain people like. Yeah, well.
Golden Bear.
Yeah, well. Jay Dilla. He wasn't so much a rap artist, but what an amazing producer.
Yeah.
And he does beats off the MP2 one take.
That guy, really boating, isn't he?
I mean, what is that? What is that?
Was that bloke or that boat?
No, boat.
Boat's like just a canal cruise. It says on the side.
I thought it was a caramel.
Caramel canal cruise.
Yeah, classic caramel cruise.
Caramel cruise. I mean, the boat's caramel coloured-ish, isn't it? It's got some caramels in it. I think it's just an off-white. Seafaring white.
I've got to go for a week there, and I'm really sorry.
Do they come out and give us drinks or anything?
Yeah, I'll get some drinks. Yeah. What do you want, mate?
A lovely local lager or ale of some kind. I just asked her for something. It's the
they brought you a beer, good.
Yeah, they got us a beer. A bit of more than it's like, but you weren't like a meatball type of thing. Local. I didn't know if you wanted anything.
Oh no, you're cool, mate.
I haven't eaten anything today.
No, neither have I.
It's just a little bar snack they have here.
What do you think of
It's
that?
like their pork scratches. It's alright. I'm fine with it.
It's very malty.
What did you have before?
I had
The lighter one.
the other one of this, yeah, and it was the last one. Something like that.
I have 4.
Because I crave bitter. That's why I like.
Yeah, I mean that.
No, you don't.
It's getting on for that, but it's
Yeah,
not. It's
I mean the taste. I just mean the taste of it.
It's still a.
Multi.
It's still. It's just a top claw.
I just mean the taste. I try and get away from the sweet.
Me as well. I love my ales.
Yeah, I do.
But you're never gonna get an ale here. You're never gonna get an ale anywhere other than.
I mean, what's Germany like for it? What's Germany like?
Right, so Germany do the Weiss.
It's all white, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's the wheat beer, which is fantastic. I mean, do you like that?
Well, I'll have. The thing is, I'll have one to start. Like I'll do a starter on a Weiss beer, but I can't.
It is very sweet.
Actually, that's what I mean. It's too much.
It's a very sweet beer, but I really enjoy it. I mean, it's almost like honey. Really. It's like you get some of them that are like bubblegum sort of flavour, and some of them like banana.
I was having like
I don't want all that.
No,
I want my beer to taste
I
like.
don't either, but I think they do those very well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it just doesn't go to my taste.
No, it's not that. It's not what you're after. No, sure.
Going briefly back, just rounding off where I was going with the light. Squirrels don't see red.
Oh, well, did the grey squirrel kill off the red squirrel?
Maybe that's why they're killing them off. Not staying there where they are, ploughing through it. What was that I just ran over? I don't know. No,
That's the thing though.
because of all this, right, it's annoying me. The white LED lights in places are annoying me. All the LED street lamps. That's where I was going with the what do you call it? The car thing. That's annoying me. The white LED street lamps started to annoy me because I don't like the colour temperature of it. It's just annoying. I don't think I can see properly.
I feel like I get
flickering.
You know what, Darren? I think this is turning into a moaning session.
That's fine. But there was some. This is not a moan. This is where I'm going. Is like it's a good, nice.
No, I'm not saying there's anything wrong.
It's
with
a
that.
nice
Like
round off.
We're basically just turning into a moaning.
Well, this is a nice round off to that.
It's just
Finish the moaning set.
Who are you and me?
But I'm down to try one drink.
There's been some places that have replaced their, or at least at a certain time of night, the lights go from white to red, so that the squirrels still come out.
Where's that?
Street lamps. I think it's been some places in Britain, but I think it was Germany I saw it. They've changed their street lamps to red colour, like red light district style, because the squirrels still come out. They don't like coming out in the white LED light.
Because they think it's daylight.
They think it's daylight.
Yeah, but squirrels these days are full of fun. They've got attitude.
Because now you're moaning again, complaining about squirrels.
No, I'm not moaning about squirrels. I'm saying they've got attitude.
Oh, you mean they should just get on with it?
They do. That's what I'm saying. Like during the day,
So
they really don't mind.
They don't mind if it's daylight or night light. They don't mind about the red light.
I tell you what annoys me.
I don't know if it's helps badgers and things too. I don't know about the other animals, but I know the red light helps me.
Do you know how?
I'd like it to go
do you know
back
how
to
vicious badgers are?
Yeah, they're savage creatures.
They are
Good brushes.
absolutely. Mad.
Are they savage just like off the cuff, like casual savage, or are they only if they're young or about that kind of thing?
Well,
Like if you just met a badger,
if you're gonna go near one, it's gonna get.
you know, like if you meet a hungry tiger, they're pretty savage, and I think if you meet a casual tiger, they're pretty savage. But if you met like a casual badger, just chilling.
I mean, what happens if you meet a hungry human?
pretty savage. I mean, we're pretty dangerous, aren't we?
We're the worst.
But at least we've got the option. You can choose to not be.
This is all made. What we're looking at here, Dan. Just for people. We're looking at the canals. We're in Amsterdam.
Canals, yeah.
These are all man-made.
They controlled their environment.
They that doesn't
Built
work.
some dikes. What? Because otherwise they'd be underwater. This whole land is sub water level, isn't it?
What? It's below sea level.
It's like quite a lot of it. It's very. I mean, storm time. It's
And
very
it's,
dangerous.
it's very controlled.
They've just kind of
because
controlled
they-
this whole
because they
area.
don't-
Has been man-made.
It never goes over, does it?
No, because they sorted it out to make even the worst storm that could ever exist is not going to flood this place. Unlike New Orleans, where they could have done some storm damage.
Think you never go for a canal boat?
What, I live on one?
Yeah.
No.
I've thought about it.
I like the idea of boats a lot. Canal
thought about
boats, no, it's like worst of both worlds, isn't it?
Do you know my mate Bryony? Bryony, she's a video engineer. She's one of the best as well. She's top name. But she's got a canal boat. She lives just up the road from me in Sandy.
Oh yeah.
And she wants to sell it.
Really?
Like,
How expensive is a canal boat? I know it
I mean,
depends on what canal boat you have.
yeah, you can pay like from 30 to
Hundreds.
well over hundreds. Yeah.
Because you've got to get like a mooring and things too, and pay for power, I imagine, which comes as part of the mooring. And
And you've got to make sure that the thing. Well, the beauty of your canal boat, you just
Move it.
ride it up and down, and move it,
But the problem with a canal boat, I foresee, is you can only move it within the canal.
Yeah, you can.
So you're kind of locked into the canal
No,
situation.
but the canal
But it's a
system,
good canal.
the canal system in the UK is phenomenal. Like you can go from London to Birmingham.
That's what I was going to say. How far can you go without having to like put it on a truck or a bigger boat?
You can go far. You can go London to Birmingham on canals.
It's pretty good.
And,
'Cause I know Dan, you know Dan Yems, guitar tech? He wrote his down the Thames
Oh wow.
to get it to where he needed it. So it'd been built somewhere north of London, and he had to get it in the Thames to get in the canal system in London, where he parked it.
But then
So
the
he drove it. Did you drive the boat?
Yeah.
Sail the boat? You sail with the canal boat?
Oh, no, canal boat. You drive it. Yeah.
He manoeuvred it down the Thames, and he said that was pretty sketchy because it's when you're in open water, well not open, but wider
but
rivers.
there's a lot of boats going on the Thames.
It's
as well.
very busy, and it's you haven't got the speed to do. You have to wait for certain tides. And I don't know. He said it was fun anyway. Lifting the canal boat down the Thames.
But I think if you do want to stock it, you're right. You do have to pay for more.
You've got to pay something, haven't you?
Yeah.
And they always have like a yacht master, a harbour master, don't you?
Yeah. Well, a friend of mine, Chris Ferratz, bought a sailboat down in Brighton.
I like the idea of sailing. I feel like it's in my blood for some reason.
It's a 30-footer, right, and it's a lovely boat.
Yeah.
He actually crashed it
Into what?
into the rocks just outside of Brighton.
Well, like sort of in the sea, cruising about, didn't pay attention to the boys, crashed into rocks.
Yeah.
Did he sink?
Something like that. I don't know. No, he's getting
Stuck on a rock.
better. I haven't spoken to him in a while actually, but
So I imagine a 30-foot boat is quite expensive. I
I think
don't
he
know.
paid about 60 something for it.
That's a bit
Which
more than
is-
change.
Yeah. But he lives on it as well, so that's it. That's your whole life.
What's the deal with living on a boat? Like, how do you get your post?
Well, I don't know.
Do you have like a PO box or something?
Well,
or local lighthouse?
the place in Brighton that he moors at is. Have you seen the
Brighton.
where they harbour all the boats? Yeah.
I can't say I have. Maybe I've
It's a proper facility. Like you walk down a massive ramp into the water, and then you go out onto the boats, and on that ramp there's a laundrette.
Yeah, it's like that. So
Toilets.
maybe you can get it sent to the reception.
Yeah, so, I don't know.
I suppose you don't need an electricity bill. You don't need a gas bill.
No, but you hook up when you're on land.
But what I mean is like, okay, bank account. If you're a boat, you're gonna go to the bank. I'd like to open a bank account.
Well,
Where do you live?
it's very little.
I
It
live
is
on- I live on a boat.
It's very little.
What?
Sorry, the boring.
No, I'm not saying the price. I mean, like, if I go to a bank now and say, where do you live? I put my home address, postcode, everything, and they say, okay, you can have a bank account. You say I live on a boat. It's like, where's your mooring?
Yeah,
My mooring is number 5 Brighton
Honestly,
Harbour.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
Or do you have to have a fixed address?
So we call it.
Find out.
Yeah, we can find out.
Thank you.
Well, there you go.
These are little, so like a local
meatballs.
speciality. There's meat in them, yeah. I think they're breaded meatballs. Called bitter ball them.
I'm gonna have to find these.
Yeah, they're like soft potatoey meatball things.
We hung up.
Like, would you do that to your mom?
That's what happens when you're on a boat. You've got shit to do. It's like the wind might be blowing.
Well, this is what he said to me. He said he's going to sail down to past France. So he's in Brighton. So down past France, down to Spain.
Yep.
And to the north of Africa. Right?
I don't
I said
have
to
your
him,
Instagram account.
on your own.
TJ at one point he's like,
He was like, yeah. I'm like, well,
Is he a competent sailor? Like, I imagine he must be, right? Because
he's done all the qualifications.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he didn't want to get it before he was.
he hasn't just bought a boat and gone, like, I'm going to try and navigate
But
the world.
you can.
Well, I hope so.
You can. You don't need any. You don't need
I
any.
hope that you can. I hope that it's still the very last free exploration we have.
oh yeah, don't worry.
You don't
That's
need
really
anything.
why I want my phone
Get a
back.
boat
I'm
and you
like,
can just go out.
material.
But
I'm
I'm
not
not
sure.
do it properly and learn how to do it.
I don't think I would do that. I would take all the experience and expertise tips I can get.
So anyway, he was saying to me, he was going to go down that way and go to the north of Africa, we're off there.
I'm like, have you slashed tires? No.
And I was like, yeah, but what happens when you're out there on your own? Yeah, but it's fine. You sleep for like an hour at a time. So you have an hour of sleep and then you're up for like...
Sleep a bit, wake up. Kind of never sleep.
Yeah, you have to do it, you have to, progress through your sleep pattern. You have to completely change your sleep pattern. And there's like... what's that?
Something out of Judge Dredd.
It's Mad Max.
Total Recall.
Yeah.
Giant armoured police. There's water cannons on the top.
I don't water cannons on the roof.
I assume they're water cannons and not like darts or machine guns.
But yeah, you have to just sleep for like an hour at a time. And obviously you have all these satellite navigation and stuff these days. Because then there's certain alarms that go off that will wake you up if something's coming near.
Like a big swell. Swell alarm.
Or another boat,
Another boat, yeah, that's pretty
a massive boat. Because there's, these huge cruise liners that
Have you seen the?
sail about.
I heard one of the biggest threats other than the horrible things the sea can deliver to you, like massive swell, monsters, rain, storms, lightning. Other than that,
Yeah, other than the natural
other than
weather.
everything that wants to kill you,
Yeah.
one of the biggest threats is sea containers
Yes.
floating about.
Because the amount that get dropped off
They just fall off the side
the side.
and they don't sink. They're not sinkable.
There was one, right now, this is true, there was one that dropped off and the doors got cascaded or something opened and it was full of rubber ducks.
I did hear that.
Yeah. And now these rubber ducks are floating around the entire world.
And people have been finding them, haven't they?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's quite cool. I know
quite
we're arseholes
really-
and we do all this plastic production that's killing the oceans and whatever.
Plastic's fine.
But that is
Don't
actually
dump it in the sea.
But that is actually quite good, isn't it?
It's funny, yeah. I don't think the fishes. I mean, maybe the bigger fishes might have tried to eat one, but I don't think the floating plastic ducks have done. Hopefully, they haven't done too much damage to
I don't think they
the
will.
ecosystem.
Plus, they just provide a nice, like,
Maybe they've even provided some algae on the bottom of them, and the little fishes have had little meals.
there you go.
It's like classic barring snack there, I think.
It's doing well. I've got a bit of a confession to make.
Like the American, they're doing some tapas in Amsterdam.
Got a bit of a confession to make.
Yeah.
I did go to bed last night.
So you still running on fumes?
Yeah, I'm still up there.
Alright, this little run I've had, because I haven't got two support bands, you know the amount of difference that
yeah,
makes,
really,
not having two
yeah.
support bands. I actually get an hour or two every day
Yeah,
where
we can
I'm
actually fucking sit down.
not like busy.
Because you're on your feet all day, most of the time.
It's just you just got to be about. Like, I'm not. Everyone's busy. Everyone's got shit to do. But it's just being around because you don't. If everyone's doing everything they should be doing, there's nothing for me to do. Right? Everyone's good. It's fine. But the problem is you need to be there when something's not fine. You know, most days.
Yeah, which means you're on call for the whole fucking.
Most
the
days
whole,
things are happening.
the whole time.
Which I quite like. I mean, I enjoy that, and that's what I like
Good.
doing, which
Good.
is good. But not having this extra support band.
It's giving you that little bit of freedom.
It's just that was another hassle because the problem with another support band is it's not the band and the gear and the equipment, it's like personnel.
Yeah,
Even the nicest.
No, but we learned that from Miles Kane on the last leg.
Even the nicest people.
They
they're
regret us.
difficult-
They were
people-
just they
people
were
are
fucking
difficult-
useless.
people are
Darren. Don't
difficult to
try
deal
to go.
They
They
weren't
They
useless.
fucking were useless.
You just had to. It was an effort to work out how to deal with a personality or people. You know, certain personalities.
You are being very nice by saying that.
It's not
Yeah.
about. It's not like the whole thing about all of this is just working out how to deal with different people, different personalities, and everyone's job is the most important thing to them in the world at that time during that half an hour or whatever they get. So giving them that perspective and also not mollycoddling them or patronising them or
And actually, do you know what? It wasn't really their fault.
no, not at all.
Last
That's what I
time.
mean. Like
Yeah.
they're not being difficult. They're just trying to do what they're trying to do.
Do you know what? I spoke to my mother earlier. I was telling her about the Norwegian, blah blah.
Yeah.
And I was telling her about Miles Kane for some reason. And then I actually switched and I was like, do you know what? I actually felt quite sorry for him because he's really trying hard to be this sort of big star.
Something bigger than
Yeah.
than I don't know.
And he just and the crowd are just not. They're
Well,
just not.
I mean, it was
taking
a weird one for our crowd. I say our crowd.
It's
the crowd.
I just felt really bad for him. All of a sudden, I don't know.
He must have his fans.
Oh no, it
He's gonna have
definitely
people
does.
that like him, but this is what
Of course,
support act is. They're not there for his fans.
But the way he was portraying it was like he was like a big star, and it's like. I
Yeah,
just
but that's
felt like-
because he's part of his act.
Yeah, but should I feel? I don't
No.
feel bad about it, but I just feel like
I don't.
almost sort of sad. I'm a bit like, oh god, or
I
cringy, a little bit cringy about it.
I don't think you should feel sad any more than he should feel sad about you having to do loadout.
I didn't feel sad about it, but
Or
like I
sorry
said, about a bit cringy because it was
Yeah,
like,
well, yeah,
it's
because-
it's not what he's trying to make it, and he was trying very, very hard.
The problem
and
is, like,
do you know
he's-
what, Darren? He actually had a couple of good numbers.
That's what I mean. He was good. He was good.
He had
that's
like
fine. And he
two
was,
good numbers out of all 20
and he was
that he
always
fucking
very.
played.
He was always very pleasant and very professional towards me, like always. So I
Exactly.
can't fault it on that. And the problem with what his job is, it's an artistic. It's up to people to decide
But it just-
based on an artistic preference whether he's any good or not. And it's like that's so ambiguous.
It is.
Like, for
it
us,
is.
our
It's
job-
so subjective,
Our
isn't
job,
it?
yeah. Like he's got a subjective situation. So
Oh, it's horrible.
Whereas-
Yeah, but that's the pain I'm feeling. I think.
yeah, but you can't because it's like you say, it's subjective. So
know,
it's
and
almost
we're
like
not
you could say
supposed
you could
to-
feel
we're
sorry for the crowd for not having something to enjoy.
No, well, we never did.
Like,
Well, what the other night when we
anytime,
walked off stage.
any time. Like I mean, if they're not enjoying a performance, why are you sorry for the artist and not the crowd? Like the crowd have now got nothing good to listen to. It's like how do you make the decision
Yeah.
as to who to feel sorry for?
I don't feel sorry.
It's not like a
at all.
quantifiable
I
job
don't, no, it's
for
not.
the crowd.
No, it's definitely not. We're not, and we don't.
Like some jobs are quite quantifiable. Like you
Yeah,
say,
but we don't asset numbers to any of that. Do we?
no,
we don't
but you
do it.
could do it like you say. Okay, I need to achieve this amount of things today to do a good job. Like you could, and that would be like this is 100 things I did today that were successful. So okay, you've done a good job. If you do 99, you've done a bad job. But it's never that
It's never.
clear cut. And it's when it goes even to the nth degree, when you've got artistic preferences, where you're not doing like you're not making a thing. You're not making like 100 coins. You're not making 100 steel beams like today. What you're doing is something that people judge you on based on how they grew up in life and what beats they particularly like, or if they like girl vocals, male vocals, a mixture of the two. Or
See, Darren, this is why you're the stage manager, and I do the pictures. Because I think you've outlined that way better than I could ever imagine it, and not saying you give a fuck, but,
No, but you
obviously you give a fuck,
but you'd
and we all
still-
give a fuck, but the way you describe that is like, yeah. you want everything to be as possible as it can be.
Yeah.
And I use the word possible there, and not anything greater, because
possible.
possible.
You're basically you're aiming for mediocrity. You're aiming for it to happen.
It's got to happen, and you make it happen. Right.
Well, just facilitate.
Whereas
Facilitate. I don't make it happen. I'd be around
Whereas
to assist.
I would be like honestly, if I was in your shoes, I'd just be like, I just fuck off. Don't
Yeah.
be all fuck off left, right, and centre. I wouldn't be doing it.
Fuck off.
You know what I mean?
On that, fuck off.
You know what I mean?
Well, I did say.
You know what I mean, though.
I did say to one of the kids the other night, mid changeover. He's like, comes up to me and goes, "Oh, we've got a backdrop to hang." I said, "No." I just because last time I entertained the backdrop
Oh my
because we
god!
sort of did.
Yeah, well, on the UK run.
Yeah, in the UK run, it was a
Fucking
nightmare.
hell.
But we did have facility to do it, right?
But
And
it was pointless.
pointless and tough. But that's not up to me to whether it's a point
I
or
know,
not. That's
I
not
know.
for me
You
to
just
decide.
got to facilitate it.
Yeah, so
I would
the
be
guy
there.
did come up to me today, and I had no contingency for a backdrop, and I had no idea how I would make it happen, and I had no time to entertain his
Backdrop today.
the last gig. I had no time to.
No, I put the back.
No, the one before before Twisted Wheel.
Oh, they wanted to put a backdrop on. Oh god.
So we're mid changeover now, so
You
we've
couldn't- you
organised
couldn't
everything,
Couldn't do it.
and he was like, "We've got about." And before he finished, I was like, "No."
It's not
Carried on doing
happening.
what I was
You
doing.
can't do it. You can't do it.
So
There's no way you're gonna
know,
get that. What, you want us to bring a truss in?
yeah, but this is the thing, like.
But you're not gonna say that.
Ideally, you want to kind of sit him down, explain the situation, make him see it, and you'd be like, okay, well, how can we maybe come to a compromise? Maybe I can do something. But you can't.
No.
Because I'm like, I've got 15 minutes to get you off stage and 15 minutes to get my band on stage.
Yeah.
If we do half and half, but you don't really have half the time because
You're not.
you're not actually as important. Like, so I don't really. In theory, I don't really care about you.
But what you'd love to say to them is, you're not as important. I'm not putting your backdrop up. Allow it.
Yeah.
You know, but you can't say that. But what you can
It's not that
say,
you
what you can say is no.
It's not you. Yeah, you can say no and then carry on. You just, and I think.
I mean,
I hope they know.
If they'd have come to you earlier on in the day
And yeah,
and
and
asked for the backdrop,
I would have tried to. I would have tried something.
you would have tried to put it up.
I would have tried something for them, and I would have maybe said, and I know that I would have got a no from somewhere else. So
Well, I'm surprised that we put the logo up on the screen last night
why's that?
for Twisted Wheel.
Why's that?
It's giving our screen away.
They know there's a screen there,
Yeah. No, sorry, don't. I know they know there's a screen there.
but you know.
But if it's me, I don't give the screen away until it's our gig. Hence, when we did the UK run, we gave the iMac screens.
You didn't give the main screen.
No, give the logo on the iMac screen.
I mean, I don't know. Where does it stop? Like, where do you?
Well,
and why do you?
it's Davey. It's
No,
Davey.
but no. What I mean is, what?
If it comes from Davey, I have to do it.
I understand that. I
know
understand
you
the
understand
process
that.
of the like.
Hierarchy of.
And then I would have the same
Of
thing.
me
like, so
being
and I put a backdrop up, and he's like, no, and I'd be like, okay, no, that's what I have to do. But what I mean is, where do you take the hierarchy out of it, take the big boss at the top out.
Yeah.
Just be like, why don't we reveal the screen? What is it about what we're doing? Like, why can't everyone just why can't we just put Twisted Wheel on the whole screen? What are we trying to do? Trying to preserve the main act?
But yeah, because we want to show it off. No, sorry, Darren, I'm not showing off my screen until my fucking act.
This is what I'm trying to get to the bottom of. Like,
I know we are.
So what is the what's the reason for that? Like the umbrella reason for all that stuff?
Because we want to do a big show,
I know, but
and we don't want our little fucking side show companions
But
to
why-
steal all the fucking limelight.
this is what I'm saying though. Why do we have this?
I know what you're saying,
Yeah.
and I
I'm
know
not
you, and
criticising what you're saying, but I agree.
I know you know the answer.
I agree.
But-
right? But where does it come from within us to be like this? Where like we treat the
Because all of these people in this arena have paid a lot of money to come and see us and Liam Gallagher present a show.
Liam Gallagher.
That's what they want to see.
So that-
they don't want to see Twisted Wheel.
No, I know they don't. I know they don't.
That's where it comes from.
But I'm wondering like where because you
Well, they didn't come from last night because obviously
they said Twisted Wheel. They
it
got more Twisted Wheel than they could live.
because it didn't happen. But
No, I don't know. I'm just trying. I'm just pondering.
Because, no, but what it is they're paying money to come and see our act, all right? And we have put a lot of effort. Darren, you put a lot of effort into this act, as do I, as the fucking Bjorn, how I hate to say it, as the film, right? I like to let my video director.
There's a thing, you know. You
have a fucking evening off, you know.
You've got to have
because he's the fucking main man.
Yeah, if it's not looking right, you all get it. You know,
exactly.
It's like
and it's all down to film.
You might have put the screen up the best it could possibly be.
And I might be doing all
my effects. And I might have the server running spot on.
Perfect. But
if it doesn't look right,
but if Phil gives me pictures that
can't be corrected,
nothing he can do. Phil's the video director. He's the main man.
Because that's not what anyone in the anyone of criticism is going to be. They're not going to be talking about the server, are they? When they criticise the video, they're going to be criticising
Phil's cut. It's a live cut. This whole show is a live cut. And do you know what? I don't even know where it comes from. Where does it come from?
What?
Like this acceptance.
Acceptance of what?
Acceptance into doing a different job. Like, cause
what do
you've been
what you mean
doing stage management now.
What, so you mean acceptance of?
And I'm doing media service. What
do you mean, like how did we get to where we are, or
yeah, like, and will it come to the day where we're gonna go, I like this guy, he's gonna do media service?
I think so. I don't.
Or you're gonna get a stage manager?
I don't know. It depends where the route takes us. Depends whether you go into the position where you're choosing a team. Like the position David's ended up in, he's choosing a team. He's putting his teams together. But if that's what you want,
is this solely through Davey that you're on this?
Davey pulled me in, yeah. Yeah, Davey pulled me in.
Because Phil pulled me in on this.
Because Davey.
But it was a bit of a sort of a rough edit, like because I wasn't really in. Doing it, I'd done it for a bit, but like I wasn't really doing it properly.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Like Davey tried me out on this other gigs before. Like he did Blaze of Feather, which was Ben's side project. So it was like 8 or 10 gigs, 8 or 10 gigs around the UK, and he was like, I want you to stage manage it. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. So not that I don't know how to do that. I've never done that. And he was like, no, I want you to do it.
You never done it.
I want you to do it.
But
he'd only seen me as a.
But he saw
a set guy.
But he saw the potential in you to do that.
Yeah, and I think as well, like I had it from. You remember Gaddy?
Yeah.
Gaddy was the same. He said to Toby, he said, just let Daz do it. The one you just let Daz do it. Yeah, why don't you just let Daz do it? And I was like, Gaddy, I don't think I can do that. And Toby didn't say it because he was. I think he still had some. He had other people, so he didn't need me.
Well, you don't. You know, Tim one.
Yeah.
Stage disclosure now.
Well, I got Tim because. Toby then, after I did Blaze of Feather, then Toby called me and I did Rag and Bone.
Oh, did you? Stage
management. When I couldn't do Rag and Bone, I called Tim. And then Tim continued Rag and Bone.
Why did you call Tim? This is the point we're trying to make.
Okay, let's see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So,
what?
You know what it is? It's temperament you're looking for over everything.
It's quite a unique position.
It's temperament.
It's a temporal part. Yeah.
I think above everything is temperament. If you're talking stage management, and the little I know about it, because I've only done it briefly, like in terms of my whole life, I've only done it very briefly, and I haven't done that many. Is temperament. So you've got to have the right character. There are very, very few times, if any, I can recall Tim being upset, angry, pressured, or stopping.
He's the boss.
Ever.
Yeah,
right?
great,
So
I've
got to now recommend someone for a job, right? I've got to recommend someone for a job that has to show up every day on time without fail and never be pissed off. Who do I do that of everyone I know? Who?
Tim.
Who has the ability to do that?
He would never get. You're dead right.
So
I've never seen him get pissed off at anything.
So okay, let's just say shit at stage managing. At least he's going to be there every day, and he's not going to be pissed off, and he's not going to complain.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Even if he's shit at actually stage managing, which the job I think is basically not getting pissed off, upset, or complaining. I think that's basically what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because you're not actually lifting anything, you're not actually doing anything technical.
Sure.
And then he's got a technical understanding of what happens on the stage.
What needs to happen for
He
the
at least
DJ
has,
riser?
at least has a very in-depth knowledge of audio, and I know he has an in-depth knowledge across the board because he pays attention, right?
He's very good.
And he problem solves, he fixes stuff, he's under pressure. So I think all those things have to be like number one, temperament, and then a technical understanding.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah, okay, alright.
And I think, and then equal with
But also,
with temperament is you've got to have people skills. Talk to people.
What's his name? Your other man. Yeah, he was did the stage on the UK run.
Cam.
Yeah. Because he turned up the stage manager.
He covers me on something I don't do. Yeah.
Great, love him. I love him to it. So he's fucking brilliant.
Cam has got ability to run a crew very well.
Yeah, he's so good.
He can look after a team and the local team. He can look after much better than I can. You know, like organising locals to do things. He's very good at doing that.
I think you're being a bit modest there, but yeah.
And he's good at people. He gets on with everyone. I didn't meet anyone that was like, fuck that Cam.
No, he's
Fuck
great.
him,
You know, the first time I met him was when I was in Bournemouth.
Yeah.
And you guys were at the pub, and I met you at the pub.
Oh yeah.
Yourself, Phil,
Yep.
Murph, and Cam was there.
Yeah.
On that horrible jump you did.
Oh, that was the War of the Worlds. That was tough.
This is so much better.
That was a tough day. That was a tough day. That was. So yeah, I think it's that. I think that's where I'd put it. And a lot of people don't. Not a lot of people. I think some people don't want to do it. You can see people don't want to do it.
Fuck that.
It's not like a thing.
I can do that. Fuck that, man. You're on it all day. I can't fucking do that.
And you know what the hardest thing to come to terms with when you do it first time is you're with a lot of people that are far more experienced with you than you, that are in theory going to be much better than you at this, and they're a lot older than you.
No, but it's not even that. It's the different departments of levels of.
You're working with a lighting team that've got combined ages of well up there.
That doesn't matter.
No, I know it doesn't matter, but the first time you do it, the first time you walk out, or you walk into a loading,
right,
and you've got to deal with these guys
like yourself,
and just people that are very experienced and very, very good at what they do, and you've got to now suddenly make a decision that decides for them what they do, right?
I can't fucking do that.
That's the hardest thing to come to terms with, and it's not until the only way I can reconcile it is someone has to make the decision. That's the first thing. Someone has to do it. So that is fallen on you.
So your first protocol, but then after you, if it's a bigger decision, then you get Davey involved.
Well, yeah, of course. But what I'm talking about with the guys that you're possibly making decisions for is someone's got to do it. You can draw upon all their experience and knowledge. Don't ignore that at all. You can't do that. It's a big problem if you ignore anyone's experience, knowledge and insight that you may not have seen. You have to use it all. But you've still got to make the decision that they may not like. And if you are not making decisions that some people don't like, they're probably not important decisions. That's really hard.
Yeah.
As soon as you realise that you're in the position...
That's why I always get shunned out, right?
you're in the position to do it. And
no, you look after but I find it amazing that you manage to look after everyone.
It's
like, I think that's a real trait, and
just trying to keep an eye on that's the difference, right? So someone that has very experience,
especially like last night's loadout, where
it's going to be troublesome.
We can only get a certain amount of trucks.
It's going to be troublesome. So everyone's got to try and not everyone's got to suffer the same, but everyone's going to be in it. So we're going to try and tend to everyone's needs.
Not blowing my own trumpet, but you got me there, and I don't mind whatever happens.
Yeah.
Trucks not going to come in, right? Whatever.
Most people don't mind as long as you're not doing anything ridiculous or stupid or like against their will. Most people are doing their best to accommodate you too. And if you come up with that, at it, then it's fine.
But
you get the
because for example, it's like Liam on this. Liam's obviously a very experienced audio crew chief.
Yeah.
And you can tell
Yeah.
He fucking knows
He's
how.
been and done
he
a few
knows
shows.
how to do it.
Yeah.
And he knows how to pack a truck and whatnot. You know, I don't mean to be harsh, but he's a bit slow, but whatever.
Thorough is what you say.
Okay, yeah, he's thorough. But like coming up with like what you were saying when you're walking into that, and you've got,
Coming up with someone
and
that
you've got a
knows
big head.
toured the world with huge artists
yeah.
and worked with stage managers that are far more experienced than me and far more present and what do you call it?
So Darren, off the record, can I ask what
It's very much on the record.
Yes.
Yeah.
Since I started.
Yeah.
You should be earning more money than me.
I know how it works.
You should be earning more money than me. Fuck off.
But it's not. You know, it's just how things go, isn't it?
I know. Well, is it? I know.
I've earned more.
I know.
I've earned less.
I know. Next
It's
time.
not a bad wage.
It's a great wage.
Very
It's a
good
very
wage.
good wage.
That's what I mean. It's not. That's why I don't like. I know I can earn
But
more,
I
but I've
think-
earned less.
Yeah, I think they should be paying you a bit more. I don't know. No, it's you, man. I don't
It's all
know
quantified,
what it is because
like,
you do the
some
fucking
people
hours and the fucking foot.
Some people
The
will
feet.
say
It's the
less
feet
or
that
more.
fucking cane it, doesn't it?
Yeah, they
You know,
do.
your feet can get
And I've, you
at
know
least
what?
£100 a
I
day.
forgot my forgot my work boots in this one, and there I use them for a change between the two shoes, and that helps a lot. Start off in the boots, go to trainers, go back to boots, and that really
Does that
helps.
help?
It really helps. You get good boots, yeah. The
Right,
right
look,
boots.
what are you looking at your watch for?
I've just seen what time it was. I don't know how long we've been talking for. Just one.
Alright.
What are you accusing me of?
Well, I don't know what you're fucking thinking, but you know.
Oh, this is really boring.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Sort it out.
Well, look, so the Ink Hotel
We're in the story.
said write your story.
What have we come up with then?
So I started writing a story. Do you want to hear it?
Of course I want to hear it.
No, it's can you read my handwriting? Right.
You want me to read it?
No, I don't want you to read it, but can you actually read it?
I really want to know about my story, but that's what the I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Said
Right.
to me as
Now,
I could work it out because it was the first copy I ever made. Anything's a bonus. Yeah, I could read it.
Okay, good. So I wrote it down really quickly. Like my finger was
right.
going like this. I was like trying to write it real quick.
I haven't got my pad, but if I showed you my writing pad, you'd illegible.
No, el café latte
Can't
que
read
no
what I
tomo y el
write.
espresso igual, te
Right, do you want me
cuatro
to
y
read
pico
this to you?
también.
Right. I don't know what this is,
Yeah.
right? But it was.
What you wrote this morning?
Yeah, when I got back, and because it said write your own story, so I was like, all right.
Go on then.
So, you really want to know about my story, huh? That's what the lieutenant said to me as I delivered the first coffee I ever made him as the junior detective. Anything's a bonus, I said. Even starting out in this job, you've got to stay snappy. I like the legs on the table. They were at a jaunty angle, and they represented themselves up against the rest of the remaining. Oh, sorry, hold on. Presented themselves up against the rest of the piece, reminding me as a newly born form finding itself difficult to stand.
It's quite a light.
The table you're sat at's got some history, as he slammed his mug down on the table. But we're not here to talk about that. Even though I've been offered the position, I felt like this was an interview. Time to wander, I thought. There's no time for you to wander. It felt like he could read my mind. Always one step ahead. We brought you here because you've got a special gift. Something that years you've been hiding for everyone and you hold dear. But we know. You mean... I paused. Yes. But I can't. I haven't even tried and I can't repeat it. Out since I was again and I stopped. No longer were words forming in my mouth. Huh? He said? That's it. It was going on. I don't know what was going on from there, but I brought an extra page so I could write some more. But
It's nice. Where did it come from?
I don't know where.
What was the ignition?
I don't know. So
Where are they? Set the scene for me. What's happening?
so it's Yeah, it's a cop station. Obviously, it's sort of New York.
New
it's America,
detective.
so-
Yeah.
And he's a junior detective. And they brought him in because he's got a special gift. And I don't know what the gift is.
Savant.
Really.
Read people's minds.
Yeah, it's a bit obvious. But yeah, but that kind of thing. Yeah, well,
You can see fingerprints on stuff.
I don't know. Just all round town.
Oh, I love the
It's
table
amazing.
light.
Yeah, what was that all about?
Nice. Like a newly born fawn.
Because they got weak legs.
Just a little bit of poetry there, Connor. It's nice.
I like metaphors.
Nothing wrong with a metaphor. I'm a big fan of a metaphor and a simile.
Quindi questa
Big fan.
sarà 5 minuti in bici in
Um,
più da casa della sala.
I might continue with that because there's something going on there. I think.
Has it got a name? A work in progress name?
No, there's nothing.
So is this what? Do you see any more than this? Or is this literally just spewed out?
Okay, well, after I wrote it, I thought it could possibly be them bringing in the second brother.
I'm sorry. From plants.
Well,
Oh, so you reckon it could be a scene in plant?
yeah. After I wrote it, it was
So-
after I wrote it.
Because who was hunting for the brother? It was the second in command.
And let's
You saying he's a detective?
let's not forget, right now, if they're all seeing, all powerful, they're gonna have control of the police. The plants, aren't
It's
they?
weird, isn't it? You seen the chips? They come in a cone, but it looks like ice cream. There's so much mayo on
Yeah,
top. you
but
can't see the
but
chips.
it's bullshit because when you go to the chip shop, they go, "Oh, sauce? You don't want sauce?" You go, "Oh, go on then, I'll have it." I mean, they just fucking plop.
It's like a ball of mayo on it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm very sorry. That's not
Not very
important.
nice.
I just saw it and it
No, it's fine.
confused me.
Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe like maybe it could be a scene of them trying to bring the second brother in, because the police would probably be involved, wouldn't they?
Well, because you've got to think, some of the police are going to be plants.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be an intricate.
The ice cream again.
I tell you what, though, dude. Right now, this is the real bad shit. My dad. My dad's been right.
Has he? What, out of nowhere, or did you not know?
I didn't know.
For how long?
20 years.
You've been writing what? Anything?
Right, but it's all come out because he went to prison.
Yeah, you said,
So
yeah.
he did on these writing courses.
What, in prison?
In prison.
Cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's like part of the like rehabilitation stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
They have it in the lives.
And not just that. He's had one of his plays performed. No. Yeah.
When did that happen?
Just last year, end of last year.
Well, you didn't know.
He didn't even fucking tell me,
Well, he
right?
had a production made of his
Yeah,
writing.
yeah, and he
didn't
had
tell
a
you.
fucking play made,
He didn't
actors
say,
and
"Come on, do you
everything.
wanna come and see my
no,
play?"
didn't even tell me about it. I was like, yeah, can't, yeah, no.
Is he worried about like you knowing or anything, or is he like nervous about not being any good or something, or is it just completely he doesn't think you care? Doesn't think you're interested?
He knows I'm interested, right?
Do you think it's like a?
I don't know what it is. I don't
Right.
know why he didn't tell me. Right. Anyway, I had a like 40-minute conversation with him before he turned up about 2 other stories that he's got.
Well, work in progress.
in the works, yeah. Right, now one is about you know the Berlin Wall
Do you know I do know the Berlin Wall. I've been
and
to the Berlin Wall.
the tunnel that connects the 2 sides.
I don't know about the tunnel. I couldn't tell you. I mean, I heard there were things
So
to get through.
So this story is about a pregnant lady who is pregnant with twins. She gets trapped in the tunnel when it collapses.
Did this happen?
Yeah.
The tunnel did
this is
collapse.
real. Yeah, this is real. Yeah. And she managed to poke one of the babies. And she thought she was going to die. Right. She was given. She gave birth
Gave birth in the collapsed tunnel.
in the tunnel as it was going. She was in the car. Yeah.
In the car. Well,
Yeah.
you could get cars through there.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a tunnel like that big.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like a like a gorilla dug crawl through tunnel.
And it just so happens she's breaking water and she's giving birth
Under the tunnel.
as it's collapsing.
Right.
Could happen.
Could happen, yeah.
And she manages to get one of the babies out through the tunnel and onto the other side somehow. I don't know. We were just talking to her.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that baby goes off, grows into a. They turns into a swimmer, a really good swimmer, Olympic swimmer.
Right.
But then the other baby that you don't really hear about has also made it off as becoming an Olympic swimmer.
The twins. They twins?
Yeah, they're twins.
Identical?
Yeah, they're identical twins.
Both Olympic swimmers.
Yeah, and then they both become Olympic swimmers, and they both. But then it's about the
Rivalry?
human. No, not about the rivalry. It's about the human concept of let's see what twin can be better than the other.
Right.
But it's just basically a fucking a competition.
Yeah.
You know. They said there's more to it than that,
Yeah,
but
of course.
that's
Wow.
what he told me.
It's quite an opening concept.
Yeah.
Because I thought you were going to go with like one was born on the east, one was born on the west. I guess that's basically what has happened, but you know,
Yeah, that's exactly what's happened.
as they went through, pushed one baby out the east, one out the west, and mum
Well, no,
died in the middle.
but the other one didn't make it. Yeah,
Mum
and
died.
they obviously thought the other one died.
Yeah.
But they both became amazing swimmers at Olympic standards. Yeah.
Your dad's been
I don't know
writing for
where
20
he got that
Your dad's
from.
been writing
No,
for
that
20
one.
years.
That one is not right for
No,
20
but he
years.
has been writing for 20 years.
20 years, and he's never fucking told me. And this is the one he's
Tell me more about the
he's
one
been
that was...
right, but this is the real good one. Sorry.
So I don't mind. I don't care.
This is the real one. So this is called the first mod.
First mod. As in the mods and rockets.
Yeah.
Okay.
He told me a story on the phone today. Never told me before, ever as well. But that's something now, right? And I feel like maybe it's me actually asking the question.
I think that's what happens. It's a combination of him getting a little bit older and you
Actually wanting to
having
find out
insight.
what's going on.
When you're a kid, you know, you're off on your own.
You give a
You're
fuck,
out.
do you? And
don't
now I'm
care.
like, I want to fucking know about you before the inevitable happens.
Before we don't have them around anymore,
Exactly.
which happens to everyone.
So he told me this story.
Normal side. Told you a story.
About this guy who used to go around stealing motorcycles.
What? This is a true story.
This is a true-
Growing up kind of thing.
He took him to this mechanic, and this was a good friend of my dad's.
Yeah.
He was getting to fix them up and then sell them on.
What? So someone used to steal them,
Yeah,
take them to this guy.
my dad used to.
Well, your dad used to steal them, right?
Dad used to be.
Was he like the Phil Murph, but of Bedford? Who used to steal motorbikes?
He used to be like a dirt climber. Not dirt climber. What were they called?
Not a bouncer, what do you call it? It's alright. What do you call those guys? Bailiff.
Yeah.
He was a bailiff.
He told me the story over the phone like it was one of his friends.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure it was him. He's never told me that.
People have done, you know, you've got to remember you.
So they got in a lot of trouble with the police, obviously,
Yeah.
of stealing these motorcycles. Because they weren't really doing it legit. It was sort of like private
Yeah.
vigilante sort of, you know, debt collection. And the mechanic they were taking it to fix them up, to get them out, back out on the road and so he was getting investigated by the police.
What, for this reason?
Yeah. He hung himself.
The mechanic did?
Yeah. And that was a true story.
Because he was
Because
like under investigation, he couldn't handle
He
it.
couldn't handle it, yeah. And there weren't. My dad was really like I could tell it was fucking good music. He fucking did.
He's well enough.
He's like, I know about this.
How old was he back then? How old were we talking about? 20?
Oh, I don't know. But what I said to him is like, my house is got to come round and fucking write this story properly.
Write that one down. Well, you know what I've been doing with my...
When I said that to him, he was like, well, I don't need to write it down, it's fucking printed in my mind.
Yeah, but for prosperity, I mean, if he wants it to, he's not, it's up to him, isn't it? That is stuff I still speak to my granddad. I'm lucky enough to have him around, and I record conversations with him now because he says things like, he says a lot of things that are going to go to the grave. Like I don't remember the faces, I don't remember the names, or I'm not going to say. He tells me like the stories and places he's been and what he did when he grew up and where he was. It's so far now from our living memory.
But
the snippets of info that he
but
has.
it's all still in context. So,
Oh, very much so.
It's all still valid. You know,
It's
to everyday life.
very much valid.
What we do.
About now, what's that pigeon up to there? It's all very valid.
So I said to my dad, I was like, are you typing it up or are you writing it down?
What, this story?
Everything. Yeah, he's done, 'cause he's got.
Well, is he writing his history? Or is
He's
he
got
just
other
writing
stories. Well, he's
things
got
down?
other stories as well. He said there's loads, and he only told me that snippet, and he said there's loads more on it, and it just sounded like an amazing story. And he's like, I'm only writing it down.
It's strange,
He's not
isn't
typing
it?
it up, so he's written these scripts. He sent me the pages over.
That's really cool. So have you been reading them or you had a chance?
No, I only just got them before you turned up, so I haven't read it
Amazing.
yet.
Well, I'd say go have a little nap, have a
Have
little evening read. To have some...
what I want to do is I want to get back with this tour
Yeah.
as quickly as I fucking can.
Yep. Yep. Tell me about it.
I just want to fucking expand on this.
What some of the stories he's got.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to
Well,
find more
it's two
about what he's
stories.
been doing in the past. Let's have a play commission.
Well, he used to be a promoter as well.
Promoter for...
Putney, Half Moon. Putney.
Oh, so he's sort of been in the game a bit,
in
then?
London, yeah, and
What did he say he's building it? He does that? So he did.
yeah, well, I thought he was to trade, but
Yeah.
yeah, he was a promoter for a long time. He put on loads of bands, man, and my mum
Must have
used
some
to make,
stories.
my mum used to make the curries.
Really?
Yeah.
What, for the half moon? Yeah, don't underestimate
I'm
their stories. Not that you
I
are.
was saying to him, he's 70 now. Right, he's going to be 70 in April. And I want to get his scripts written. Basically, I'm not like being like, you know,
I mean,
something before you die.
No,
but
they should be a matter of urgency,
I want-
regardless
I want
of how old
fucking-
you are.
I
Like,
want to fucking hear this shit. Like,
'Cause, you know,
he never told me any of this.
there's
you
in
know?
theory, there's another 30 years there. In theory, there's another 30 years.
And he's never fucking told me anything. Anyway,
But we haven't got another 30 years to get out of this job. That's what I'm thinking.
I tried to explain the plants concept.
You tried to.
Yeah.
Oh,
to
yeah.
my dad.
Do you want me to? Well, what I should
He
do
wasn't
then.
blown away by it, I'll be honest with you.
Well, no, because it's going to be. I don't think not everyone will be. Especially, I think if it's going to divide people. If it's any good, it's going to divide people between shit and great. I remember.
Well, this is what we want. This is what we want.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying to
If
you.
you
When
don't
we don't
piss-
want a bad guy or a good guy. We want people to make their own mind up.
Yeah. Well, I kind of want something where people decide whether it questions whether they think they are plants.
Exactly.
I
Or
want
whether they're
that
fucking good or
in
bad.
real life.
Exactly.
Like Blade Runner does that to you, doesn't it?
Well, Blade Runner
Am I?
used the concept of whether he was actually
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
a replica. or not.
Yeah, and I think it has a deeper meaning. I think it has more than just because it's easy to sit there and think, no, I'm not a robot. But to think higher than that, to think, am I part of something that maybe I don't know about?
Well, the whole point was he's a replica. Yeah,
I know it's
exactly.
things on a higher level,
Exactly what
right?
you're
So
saying, yeah.
higher level than just purely mechanical. Like obviously,
Which was why
I'm pretty sure we haven't got to that point yet where we
No,
make
which
robots. But
Which was why the second story was really good because
second Blade Runner story. or something.
yeah, the second Blade Runner story.
What second
because-
film? What second?
Yeah,
Yeah.
29. Because
I was so surprised.
You
by
followed the main replicant, you know, and
it did it
you
again.
thought
didn't it?
that he was the main.
It did it again.
Yeah,
And it
was
it
brilliant.
questioned something else. It questions like that thing of you think you're special.
But
Like as a
but-
person,
yeah,
as a
exactly.
living thing, you think you're special,
Yeah.
and then you question, no, I'm actually part of nothing.
That was actually a really fucking good story.
Sorry, mate.
And
Yeah, I was very
that's
surprised.
I think that's something
Because
Philip
they-
K. Dick would have brought into it.
They
you know?
could have fucked that up royally.
It was
second time round.
brilliant.
And somehow, like, I thought, there's no way they can do it. We just have. It's going to be a CGI fest.
Yeah, but
Gosling is just
No,
like
it was
a blank
beautifully.
nothing.
It was
And
beautifully.
he did really
It
well.
was beautifully shot, man.
He did.
He
So
was
good.
great, yeah.
I don't know how, because everything I've seen Gosling in, it's just like it's basically a chick flick. That's how different are you actually to everyone else? Are you special? Are you an individual? You know, are you going to make a difference personally to the world? Do you have any value, basically? I think it's what the.
The answer to that is no.
You think no? Because I think if you think no, I think that if you truly believe no, that is the moment of suicide.
No, it's not.
You don't think
Suicide.
If you truly believe you have no intrinsic value, you have no worth.
Oh yeah, but you're talking about like an absolute
Yeah, of course.
An absolute definition.
Yeah, of course. Like, if you casually think, am I, you know, can my job be done by
Alright,
someone else? It's
no.
like, yeah, of course it can.
No, but I think if you're degrading down that far to suicide, it's
Or maybe, okay, all right. Maybe I'll ease it up to depression, severe depression.
no. You're going way off the mark there. I think, Dan.
Okay, put me on your mark. Aim me at your mark.
Well,
Aim me there.
because if you look at the depression and suicide,
Something I have no understanding or concept of.
You've absolutely lost all hope of everything.
But is that not? Do you think that's associated at all to have any kind of feeling
Okay.
of worth?
Can we just backtrack a little bit
Cool.
where we went from, right?
Yeah.
Which was
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner and artificial intelligence.
Yep.
Like tears in the rain.
What? Useless? Futile? Possible to see?
Exactly.
Is that what we're doing? Talking nonsense.
We are talking
Thank you.
nonsense, right? We are talking nonsense, Dan. But I quite like the nonsense talk because it's fun.
That's what it's about, right?
You stumped me there, I think. I don't know
Stop
why.
you. No,
yeah, I don't know
it wasn't.
why I'm-
It wasn't like a. This
I
is a
know
death.
it was.
knell.
I know it wasn't.
It's more of
but
like
I
an
don't
exploration.
know why I'm curious of that.
Because I'd say the last couple of years, I've casually tried to understand things like depression and suicide. Because I was always, I know my dad has this thing of like, just sort yourself out. Like, why are you being so upset? Like, why don't you just sort yourself out? And it's an area of the human psyche that I have no understanding of, like this depression and being upset for what other people would say for no reason. And I've been trying to make sure I have some empathy to that side of things because people have it and I don't understand. So it can't be something if I have no understanding of it, how can I just say something like sort yourself out?
Do you have much empathy?
Yeah, I think I do. I think like last few years or so, I've been trying to make sure I try and see things from another perspective with that, especially with depression, especially.
I don't think
something I've never.
I
never
think
seen.
I don't think I have much empathy.
What for it?
It depends. It depends on the level of where it's come from. Like, it's gonna sound really horrible now when I say this, but like the homeless,
Yeah.
and there is a lot of that going on. There's not a lot of that going on in this city. Actually, we're in Amsterdam, in case you don't know. But there's not a lot of homeless here. But we're going to a city where it's quite a problem, and I'm talking about, your northern English cities, Liverpool, Manchester, London, obviously. There's a lot of homeless going on in there.
So what do you?
To be honest with you, I struggle to feel empathy for those people.
It's not that I don't. It's not that I was.
Is that horrible?
No, not at all. I don't think it's horrible to not. I think
Because
it's quite
what
fairly
am I
normal thing.
supposed to do? Right now, look, I said I don't feel empathy, right? But if I see someone on the street doing some lovely artwork, I'll give them a few quid. Like a fiver. But I can't do all these.
No, it's not up to you. And I think the thing is that's clicked with me is when I combined reading the Archipelago, you know, the Gulag Archipelago, the book by Solzhenitsyn.
No, I don't know.
Okay, well that's a book about the suffering of Russia in the early years of 1900 to about 1935. Basically around from the First World War to the Second World War, covers that area, communism, the suffering, right? And the conclusion of that book is, it's down to you. All your suffering, anyone's suffering in the world is down to you. It's your own fault. That's the conclusion of that book. When I combine that with my understanding of or trying to understand depression, just like seeing it happen to a few of my friends and people I'm close to, it's like having this thing that happened to them where it wasn't necessarily caused by a singular event.
What were the outcomes of that? Like, I mean, how did you?
I mean, the outcome is still happening at the moment. Like, I don't know.
You still got friends that are depressed?
I've got one that's been.
But you can't feel the empathy on that.
It's not like I can't feel the empathy. What the problem was, I didn't have first-hand experience
So
with
you
this
don't
depression.
understand it.
I don't understand because I've not had first-hand experience. So I'm trying to get their
Now
perception.
let's imagine. How would you ever feel depression?
How would I?
Yeah.
You
don't. You don't know that. You don't know that level of human endeavour.
I don't know at all. I mean, I've been very upset and sad.
Same here.
Very, very upset and sad.
Of course.
And
But
I've been to the bottom.
what would it take to? I'm not trying to get you depressed, but I'm like, what would it take to get you to that level?
I don't know, but this is the thing. I think
Because right now, this is the thing that happened to me. Is it happened to my brother.
Yeah.
I am my brother, basically. We're like the same, right? Now, over the years, we argued.
Like brothers do.
He tried to strangle me one time.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was on my birthday.
Perfect time for it.
And
Might as well go out that way.
I smashed him over the head with a plate. Yeah, I mean, it sounds funny. It wasn't really. It was a lot of blood.
It's funny now.
That's why I got a scar on my thumb
What,
there.
from the plague?
Yeah.
The scars are what make you.
And he's got a scar across his forehead.
That's it.
Yeah. But
You both remember that day then?
I remember that day. But what the point I was trying to make is that we're very much alike.
So what you're thinking, this
But
could happen to you?
he
It won't
had
happen.
a lot of depression. And my aunties had it as well.
So you...
Who I'm very close with. But I've never just I'm an arsehole. Right? And if my brother's ever got married, yeah, I've gone
shrugged it off, sort yourself out. Yeah,
that's really horrible.
I was the same.
Because I don't understand it.
You don't know.
Like, what is it?
You don't know, and I don't know.
Is that just because?
Because you're a horrible person? I don't think
No, it's not because we're a horrible person. But is it because we can make light of it, any situation? Or
I think it's a combination of a number of things. Like one of them is your...
Because I actually don't understand that.
No, I don't. I don't get it. I don't understand, and that's what I've been trying to work
so
on.
like right now,
I've been trying to. It's a dark area of my knowledge that I was like. I used to think the same thing. I was like, why don't you just go to work, get on with it, sort yourself out, do something of worthwhile.
Which actually, if you say that to someone who is depressed, it's going to throw them into a fucking.
Oh, it's so terrible because
horrible loop.
It's so terrible because it's something. It's like a chemical imbalance and an emotional imbalance, and it's so many levels.
You could actually. They might not, get out of that for a long time. They might
Yeah, I mean, like for
It's really weird. It's really weird. It's really stupid. Like a friend of mine as well, another friend of mine. I've got loads of weird, fucked up
we've all
friends.
got fucked up.
And he's got some really good painkillers actually. I haven't had it for ages, but he has antidepressants as well.
Yeah.
He doesn't normally take them, but sometimes he does. And it's like they don't do him any favours.
Some people don't respond to chemical
No,
changes.
but the better favours for him are coming around my house,
What, socialising?
socialising,
Being a person.
chatting, watching a bit of TV,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
cook him dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
But I can't always do that.
No,
Because
because you're away or you're working or you're busy. You've got your own things to be getting
I've got
on with.
my
You
own
can't be
fucking,
looking
I've got my
after
own
it.
fucking life. I
And
can't,
that
as
is-
much as I want to.
And that is the side of the book I told you first. Right? It's your own fault. It's your fault. It's not anyone else's problem. And that's what you kind of reconcile in that paradox. Almost. It's a tough one to come to terms with. And
It really is.
that book had two things for me. One is it's your fault. Whatever situation you're in now, whatever you've ended up, it's your fault. The other one was the line of good and evil running down the heart of every man.
Yes, but I agree with that.
Yeah. And you put those together, and then you start on those journeys into places like depression, and you kind of can see they do.
No, but I agree with the good and evil. Because good cannot exist without bad.
Yeah.
It cannot exist without. Alright, look, if you want to call it evil, good cannot exist without evil. Because if everything was good all the time, there would be no good.
It's just like
No, there would just be the time.
I think
Right?
as well.
So you have to have the rough and smooth. Right? You have to have life with death. Okay? Life cannot exist without death. It cannot exist without death.
The follow-on book that I'm reading after that is Beyond Good and Evil, which is
I quite like the way our planet facilitates because life could exist on this planet right now, mainly because of the sun. It's got the right temperature. But that temperature correlates to water. Now, the main reason life exists on this planet is because water can exist in 3 states. Condensation,
solid liquid. Yeah.
and because it can precipitate. I mean, there's a few reasons. Right? But it's right though, you know.
here.
I love it.
You reckon that's them why the British are like they are? You've got all 3 states at once, all the time. You know, you've got a bit of ice on the ground, it's drizzling, also evaporating slightly. The sun comes out.
Well, there's no question that. There's no
Is that
question.
what you said? What are you talking about? Is that what you said?
No. What I said was there's no question of the fact that the English could take this out of themselves like this. There's no one else on the planet that can
Self-deprecating.
take this out of themselves like we do.